Hey everybody, I'm Grandmaster Ben Feingold. This is 5 Minutes with Ben, and I'm Ben. There's a lot of good content from Norway chess. This game was played today for me. Probably, if you're watching this when it comes out yesterday. This is the latest round, round 7. Between Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura. God damn. Some high-rated players there. Magnus is white, and this is the Armageddon game. Magnus has been pretty forlorn since he lost to Gukesh a couple days ago and gave interviews saying he might quit chess and he doesn't enjoy chess anymore and so forth. So as a consequence, Magnus had white against Nakamura in the slow game, and Magnus didn't try to win. Magnus played the 4 knights and then traded all the pieces off and agreed to a repetition. The game was like 20 moves long, and all they did was trade everything. Magnus literally didn't care. Then they played the Armageddon, and then Magnus cared all of a sudden. Okay, and they got this super tricky position where white's up a pawn. Although all of white's pawns are isolated, white's king is a little exposed. Here, Nakamura made the losing move. He went for the attack, which was unnecessary at this point because it's an Armageddon game. So if Hikaru draws, that means he wins. That's how Armageddon works. If black draws, then okay. And the draw was in hand, and probably Hikaru saw this and decided that he was worse, and he thought, well, I have an attack, why am I trading? So Hikaru went for the win, went for the attack, that backfired. The engine says queen f3 check, trade. Now the rook is attacked, so white's in check. So white must play king f2. And perhaps Hikaru saw this position, but didn't see bishop e2. And engine says that white has virtually no advantage here. I guess black is threatening rook d8. Pawn is pretty weak. Or king g6. That pawn's pretty weak. F3 pawn is still available for black to use. So engine says this is a draw. If Hikaru had done this and drawn the game, which is likely, that he wins. Okay, Hikaru played for the attack. Instead, he played rook h8, putting it at h. Wants to play queen h3 check, and so forth. In fact, if it was Hikaru's move, then he has mate. Queen h3, queen h2 mate. So, he probably thought that was good. Magnus gave his king an escape square by taking a pawn. And then, when Hikaru checked, he played king f3. This is very funny because earlier in the tournament, Magnus had a game where he walked his king up the board in a queen and pawn endgame and won easily. So I thought that was funny that he's moving his king up the board again with so many pieces. Okay, now Hikaru and I have known each other for like 25 years. So Hikaru knows always play bishop f1. Now if it's Hikaru's move, bishop g2 check obviously wins. And so Magnus stopped bishop g2 check by playing king f4. The engine says king f2 is also good. But I like the way Magnus just strolls his king up the board in more than one of his games. Okay, now the king's pretty safe. It's hard for black to check the king. White's up 2 pawns, so eventually white's going to win, so black has to keep attacking. Hikaru played queen h2. That's a sneaky move. It blunders the bishop, and by blundering the bishop, it's a trick. Hikaru's threatening rook h4 check. That's pretty sneaky. That's an easy move to miss, in an Armageddon game. So Magnus did take the bishop, but first he got his king and queen off the same line, making rook h4 check shallow and pedantic. He played queen e5 check. Black has to move the king. Moving the king to h7 doesn't make any sense because it blocks the rook. So he went to g8. And then Magnus took the bishop. Well, now white's up a piece and 2 pawns. Hikaru played queen g2, threatening the rook. Magnus played rook a1, threatening rook a8 check. And this position, Hikaru resigned. What's funny is the engine line, and white doesn't have to play the engine line to win. I just thought it was funny. The engine line after check is king f5. I think every legal move wins, but king f5 is the funniest because you're walking your king up the board. And then after queen c2 check, king g4, there's no more checks. That's not forced. I just thought it was funny that the engine said king f5. I think every move wins. Okay, so after rook a1, Hikaru resigned. Sort of on the cusp of a draw and winning the match, but he went for the attack, which was unsuccessful. Magnus walked his king up the board, and Magnus won. So he literally didn't care about the slow game, but the Armageddon game, that's more important. I'm Grandmaster Ben Feingold. This has been 5 Minutes with Ben. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.